We have an Excel file and it has 3 sheets in it. Our requirement is to create a talent job that reads one sheet from this Excel file and writes the data to a console, to the console. You can even write it to anything. You can write it to database or any different file format, but I am going to write it to console. Let's see how I am going to do it. In order to read an Excel file, we have a component called tfile input Excel. Drag and drop that and then drag and drop a tlog row and connect them with a main connection type. Then let's configure the tfile input Excel. So if you are reading from an Excel 2007 file format, check that and then give the file location. And in the sheet list, you can mention which sheet are you going to use. Since I have 3 sheets, when you click plus, you can type the sheet name manually between the quotes. So I am going to use the sheet with the name this one. Then I know my first row is the column names, so I want to skip the header. And then you have the first column and the last column. So you will set this setting. For example, I have like 12 columns in my sheet. So if you want only few columns, you can mention the number of that columns here. For example, if you want only columns between 4, if you want 4, 5, 6, you can mention the first column as 4 and last column of 6. Then it will extract only those columns. But in this scenario, I want all the columns. So what I am doing is my first column I'm mentioning at 1 and last column I'm not mentioning, which means it will take from first to every column. Then for the schema, I am using a schema that is created in the repository as an assignment. Create a schema for this particular Excel file, for this particular sheet, and save it in the repository, and then use that metadata in this component. So I can show you how my metadata looks like. So these are my columns and the column types and lengths. Then there is nothing much to configure this. So let's run it. Don't forget to sync. Run it. So as you can see, it nicely parsed the data and it loaded into the console nicely. We got a warning here. Don't worry about that. So as you can see, it nicely parsed and loaded it into different columns. So that's how you create a job to read from an Excel file.